Hi, my name's Chris, and I am a Fellowship of the Rings.
Hi, I'm Adam, and I fucked up the intro last time. It's fitting because we don't podcast, but what we did do this week, or what Chris did this week, is he finally watched...
It's a special episode, I guess.
Yeah, special episode. Chris watches Lord of the Rings, Part 1.
Yeah, well, not finally. I rewatched it. Also, I have a ring. It's like the Ring of Power. It's real neat. Before we get into it... He's tempted already. Before we get into it, we have tea.
We do. We have a new tea with us today. Hopefully a nice, pleasant lavender Earl Grey.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Ooh, you didn't spill on the table this time.
That's because I'm using strategy, tactics, my brain, to figure out the optimal pouring angle. The optimal location for both the saucer, the tray, and the pot.
Fair. You know, in our Sweeney Todd episode, for only one time, when I was drinking the tea, it enhanced the sound of me sipping the tea.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
You did that?
I did that.
Fucking, I was like, that was the only time that happened, and I was like, that was so weird.
Yeah, I was wondering if you'd notice.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that was a you thing. I was just like, did it just pick up in between me and Alino's thing, or am I fucking crazy? And no, it's you. You're rattling with my mind. It's hot still.
Yeah, I'm waiting on mine. But yeah, it's a good example of using sound design in works.
What a good segue into this.
Into my resume. If anyone out there is looking for a sound designer, here's some sound effects. Yeah, that's this kind of stuff that I can do. Hire me, please.
I'm assuming you're gonna send me stuff. I'll put that in. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rewatched Lord of the Rings since Rings of Power ended X amount of weeks ago. Here's where this aired. Adam wanted me to watch Fellowship. Well, all of the Rings, but I watched Fellowship first.
Yeah. Well, you should watch Fellowship first.
Yes.
Don't start with part 3 in a 3-part series. It's
like JoJo's. But yeah, I guess overall general thoughts before I get into spoil for those who haven't seen or know Lord of the Rings. It's about watch the first minute or two of the first movie, and it explains to you the lead up of Lord of the Rings.
Your ring has arrived, my lord. Why, yes, thank you.
I don't remember that deleted scene.
That's basically the plot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's about a ring. It controls people, and is by a Dark Lord. It was made. Then they're trying to undo it, kind of.
There's evil in the world, and they must destroy this evil by
destroying the ring.
Destroying the ring by going to a place and throwing it in the lava or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I'll start with my overall thoughts of the film, the trilogy.
Okay.
It is one of my favorite film series of all time.
I thought you were just gonna say things.
It's one of my favorite things of all time. It has one of my favorite soundtracks to anything ever. The special effects, for the most part, still hold up today. The choreography.
There was one bad scene that I thought was really funny.
Well, you're going to point it out to me.
I will.
And I'm sure you will. The choreography is really good for the most part. The acting I've been told, is competent.
I would agree with that statement.
It is a triumph of cinema, in my opinion, or at least of the really well-known stuff. It's just quite amazing that this got made in the first place.
Yeah,
and to have it turn out so well is.
It was directed by Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
I was watching Corridor Crew. It's a YouTube channel.
Shout out to Corridor Crew.
Yeah, VFX channel. They're very good.
Not Corridor Digital, but Corridor Crew.
Yeah, I watch those mostly.
Yeah.
But their stuff is really good. But anyway, they were talking about different, technology of CGI and animation, different stuff. And one of the ones was a Peter Jackson movie. The movie that I don't remember the name. If I remember, I'll put it in. But
King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong. But
Sure, that was just a guess. But
no, it was a movie where basically he didn't have like a high budget and he had to do like the Grim Reaper, but like a lot of cloth simulations, like in the I'm assuming late '90s, maybe earlier. I don't know the timeline of when he got hired, but when I watched it, I was like, yeah, the simulation looks really good. And I guess that put him on the map to be like, hey, yeah, we can make like a pretty competent visual of Lord of the Rings. So they're like, why don't you do it? And then he did, and it was pulled off very well. It's very, very good.
Yes, good job, Peter.
Overall, I think that it is pretty good. It is better than I remember, and there's a lot of points I did not remember. There were some that I did, but there was a lot I did not.
I mean, you've only watched through the trilogy once.
Yeah.
So
I also don't know what the extra 30 minutes were for the extended cut. Like, I don't know what they would have just like added in.
I don't remember if I remember which ones are the
got it
extended scenes, but
yeah, it was very good. I think the acting was pretty good. I think the world building is fantastic. I think the shots are pretty good. I think the transitions are kind of iffy. There's like two gripes or something.
Oh, okay.
One gripe.
So you had a problem with the greatest film of all time.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
I thought people like Two Towers more than this and Return of the King more.
I mean, they're all just kind of the same movie, but
that's a hot take. I don't know if it is, but I hate. It's not just this movie thing though. I just personally really dislike slow-mo stuff when it's used randomly.
randomly.
I don't know about randomly, but the way that sometimes they would like show this like slow motion. It wasn't even slow motion. It was like
I've seen this film like 15 times. If you tell me the exact shot, I'll know what it is.
There were some shots with the orcs, I guess, that like when they were first pulling up. This is spoilers a little bit. We'll get back. But the orcs were pulling up to the Fellowship after Boromir tries to take the ring.
Oh, okay. When they're in the Forest of Fangorn.
Sure. Yeah, when they were getting ready, there were some shots of the orcs that like it just. They're not like slow motion.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like not when they're in battle, but when they're like gaining ground, like, and it's not slow motion, but they like
it's kind of like a blur.
They delete like 5 in between.
Yeah,
so,
I don't even know what that's
frame.
called. Like I hate that. That looks so ugly to me.
Yeah, I'll agree.
And the thing was like a movie that does that too. That not to say
I've seen it in a bunch of films. I
one that stands out to me is like Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it was a specific spoilers for that movie, a specific timeline that they show those shots in. It was a timeline where the mom and dad become Hollywood actors and they come back. That specific timeline they use those shots, and although I'm not a fan. I assume a stylistic purpose to it, right?
Yeah.
But this, it like sometimes they use it like on orcs and sometimes
in that shot specifically, it was just to like make the orcs look threatening before the fight happened.
Yeah, I guess, but it just looks bad. Like, the orcs look great. Like, just show the orcs. That was
from what I remember. There isn't as much of that in the later two films. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but.
I guess we'll. I don't know. I feel like there's the.
I'm running through the whole trilogy in my mind, like shot by shot, and I can't seem to remember.
Okay.
So.
There's a lot of stuff that's not explained, which is this is a soft magic world.
Yes, it is one of if not the first epic fantasy story that we have as human beings. I think. Like, isn't the whole genre of epic fantasy attributed to Tolkien?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, yeah.
He started writing this kind of stuff before the nerds got to it.
Yeah.
So from like the storytelling perspective of someone from a writer who's never had to talk with angry math nerds, it's perfectly fine that. Gandalf of course has a moth that can summon the eagle. Of course he does.
Yeah, like the thing that it harkens to like it feels like just organized mythology. Like that's what it kind of feels like to me, where it's just like instead of like a bunch of people writing like a bunch of different stories that kind of fit in together for like gods and shit, like it's one person writing a linear story that happens to have all of these things like tied into it.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because that's like the entire point of why Tolkien wrote his big epic fantasy world, because he wanted like the English-speaking world to have a mythology similar to like Norse or Egyptian or Greek, but since English became a language after Christianity, we didn't really get that.
Yeah.
So he was like, I like Zeus. I like that Odin fellow. Let me do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess more of my thoughts. The acting's great, like I think I said. The music is wonderful. I'm not a big music person, as some may or may not know.
You don't need me to tell you that the music's good.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's widely considered one of the best, if not the best, film score ever.
Yeah, I feel like during the movie I felt some things were cheesy, but I mean like, maybe that's just because this is the original progenitor of
well, I mean, this film was made like over 20 years ago now.
Yeah, and this is taken from the book.
Of course, to us, it's going to seem cheesy.
Oh, this is taken from the book that was made way longer,
like
before
1930, late 30s,
I think. Yeah,
late 30s, something like that.
So some things are gonna like not transfer as well, which is whatever. But like, yeah, it's very good. I really like the characters. I'm excited to, I guess, continue watching the rest because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So characters wise, if you'll indulge me in a little impromptu BuzzFeed quiz I have for you.
Oh.
Which of the 4 hobbits are you? If you skipped breakfast and second breakfast and you come across a farm that is in season and the farmer is nowhere to be found, would you steal some crop?
No. Well, if it's okay, I've eaten 2 meals, right? You said
you have skipped first and second breakfast.
Oh, I've skipped both of them.
Yes.
Do I have food at all, or am I just hungry?
You are on your way to the next town over and you're hungry. You could eat when you get there, or you could just steal some crop now and just like eat while you walk, like a big old hunk of corn.
I wouldn't eat corn because I hate corn, but I might take 1 piece of crop, like so that's not so damaging, but also something to hold me over, maybe.
Okay.
What does that make me?
Now tell me, how honorable would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you a scoundrel or a knight?
I would say like a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
I'm definitely honorable. I'm not prideful. I don't think. I don't really care about that shit. But like, if someone like wants me to do something, I'd like try to fulfill it, like, or at least discuss that stuff. And
okay. Third and final question: do you prefer green or blue?
Red. Green, I guess.
Green. Okay.
Sure.
You've done it. I'm calculating your results, and of the 4 hobbits, you are most definitely a Merry.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm still struggling on the Merry and Pip. Which one's which? It's hard for me. But I know that they are different. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's it for the spoiler thing, for spoiler-free stuff and general thoughts. I think I'll have a cut on, or a time stamp on on the stuff that you should have skipped.
But. Oh, dude, we forgot to clap that one time. Anytime. We forgot to clap. How are we going to sync the audio now?
I'll just listen to it. I'm not going to listen to that. Okay. It's going to be way I'm going to try to line up way before then, but we're fine. We're fine. It's fine. But yeah, I guess you want to go beat by beat?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
try not to linger too long because it's a long movie.
This is a long movie, yes. So extended edition is just over 4 hours or just under?
3.5.
3.5? Okay.
Although on HBO Max, it said it was like 340.
That's plus credits.
Yeah, and so then like it ended at like 3:20, and I was like, "Hey, shit, that's still got a bunch of time." But yeah, it should be fun. Okay, so it starts off with the exposition. It talks about the rings: 3 for the elves, 7 for the dwarves, 9 for the men. Rings are used to rule. I'm not entirely sure how.
It's never explained.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a soft magic system. Don't worry about it.
See, the thing is, the soft magic is that they show some magic. The rings are just stated, they rule the kingdoms.
The point is that the rings were important.
And now they are not as much.
And now there's one that's important.
Yes. And then I also put, how does Sauron's ring control the others?
That's a good question.
Also, he only controlled the 9 men, and not really Galadriel.
It's a soft magic system, Chris.
Again, I like this movie, but my immediate questions don't seem like
this guy's been watching too much isekai over the years. He's expecting like everyone to be graded between F and S rank.
I expect
in
heavy
6 categories
on like
the JoJo hexagon, strength, speed, power,
or like the Nen in Hunter x Hunter or something.
Yeah.
Anywho, Mount Doom battle. I put Elrond and I put exclamation point since I watched. Rings of Power.
Yeah, we're still on the prologue, the little exposition dump at the beginning.
Yeah. Just out of my love for Elrond in the Rings of Power, it makes me just every scene he's in this, I'm like, yeah, Elrond.
Yeah, that's my boy. I know that guy.
I literally put that. Because this is coming off, since this is coming off the Rings of Power, and I know not all of it is canon. Some parts are vaguely canon.
Oh, don't worry about that. Not even all of Tolkien's stuff is canon.
Well, that's fair, I guess. Because I was like, Isildur's dad was king? He's not king of the show. I'm assuming this is the same people, right? I think.
Yeah, they named him as Isildur.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think his dad's also not Halbrand. That's fucking.
Yeah, Isildur's dad in the show is a captain.
Yeah, which I'm assuming will eventually become king.
No, doesn't he get promoted to admiral at the end, or something?
Yeah, I forget.
So some political shenanigans are going to go down in the show to get him on the throne somehow.
Yeah. I also put, broken sword took off Sauron's finger. I put, why did that destroy him? And
that's a good question.
See, the thing is, I can see him putting all his power into it, and then it not being connected to him, backfires. But then, he's reshaping, and then he's gonna reform and then live again. I'm like, well, isn't this the stuff in the ring? And if not, then why did he blow up the first time? That was my question. That I assume we won't get answers for.
It's a soft power system, Chris.
Also,
I think that is specifically explained in the books, but I didn't read them, so.
There was a video I watched about not the Rings of Power, but I forgot what video it was. If I remember, I'll put it in. But it basically talked about how, because someone was asking them how could you like Lord of the Rings or something, because they didn't have hard explanation or gray theming or stuff. It's more black and white and more vague.
Yeah, it's a good question to ask.
Yeah, and the guy in this video explains everything, why he likes it and why they're asking the question like that, and it's this is probably why, and he explains different stuff. And one of the things that they talk about is all the villains in the story underestimate everything. In Sauron, when he took down Isildur, he's just the things that take them down are looked at as, that's just a X. So that's just a broken sword. This is just a man. This is just.
You poor fool of a man! You think you can defend yourself with a broken sword? I shall make your death quick. Oh no!
But that, and then the Frodo and everyone is they're just hobbits. Where they're the villains look down upon things that end up making a big difference. Even though they're not the grandiose beings that
it's a consistent theme in the Tolkien mythos.
Yeah, and so since we're on the broken sword stuff, I really like that. It's really cool. Yeah. I put ring can make you invisible. let Isildur die. It has a mind of its own.
If Sauron was so powerful, why did he die?
Dude, amen. Like, what happened? Then the third age. Then Bilbo makes a book. Starts making a book. I don't know how. Okay. One thing I guess I also have a criticism of is the sense of time.
Yes.
Throughout the movie,
it's
very whack.
Yeah. In the books, it's explained a lot more. So, and this is the part that I know of a little bit.
Okay.
So, when they're in the Shire, and Bilbo first leaves and gives the ring to Gandalf, who then gives it to Frodo, and then Gandalf's like, I have to go research this. So he goes to a castle somewhere and starts reading all these dusty scrolls and stuff.
Yeah.
He's in that library for 3 years.
Oh.
So when he comes back, and there's that jump scare moment where he's like, and he starts shaking him by the shoulders and slapping him across the face. Where's the ring? And he punches him in the nose and runs towards the cabinet to go grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's him. That's his first contact with anyone in 3 years.
Jesus.
And it's supposed to. I mean, they make him look really frazzled, but it's in the books it's a lot more like
yeah. It's very hard to tell like how much time between that passes because I can get because Frodo has it tucked away like in a box and stuff,
unlocked.
So, yeah, I guess unlocked, but yeah, it's been a while, and I was like, this is not just that because like the way they travel is kind of like, sometimes Gandalf gets places faster.
Yeah, it's not taking the same attention to distance as like early Game of Thrones did.
Yeah, it's like late Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's like late Game of Thrones. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. The Hobbits stayed in the Shire for hundreds of years, unlike the Harfoots, which traveled.
Not the Hobbits. Maybe the Hobbits.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of the Hobbits. Let's see. Gandalf gets to the village, the Shire. They live in Bag End, I think.
He's a fireworks salesman.
He is a fireworks salesman. He's a wizard also. A lot of memes also that I recognize.
Yeah,
they're very fun.
Yeah.
Bilbo's turning 111, and he wants to.
No,
leave.
he's turning. It's his 100th and 11th. Does he say 11th in the film?
He says it's his.
I remember he says the number weird.
Yeah. He says like 11th birthday.
11th?
Or something like that.
Damn hobbits.
11. Yeah, it was. It's something weird.
Yeah. So to our American ears, we're like,
that's different. So yeah, I guess Bilbo. I guess the Gandalf thing implies Bilbo's been gone for 3 years, and I was like, because one of the things I had was like, oh, Bilbo and Frodo saw each other again, and it seems like they were gone a long time, and then Bilbo finished his book, and I was like, it didn't seem that finished before, and it didn't seem like that long of a time, but it was.
3 years.
Yeah.
Plus some extra for them actually getting to Rivendell. But yeah. Also. They don't say this in the film, but Frodo's 50.
Okay, Frodo. How old's Sam? Because I know that they have a discrepancy.
I think he's also around that age.
Because he calls him Mr. Frodo, like as a seniority thing.
Oh.
So I
might be wrong.
We'll see.
I can't answer your question, Chris. I don't have the knowledge.
In the future. Okay. Gandalf says riddles in the dark. That's when he's looking things up, I think, or when he hears the "My Precious" stuff that Bilbo says. And I don't know if that statement doesn't come back yet or at all. I don't know.
Oh, I actually know what that reference. Like you saying that made me figure out what that's talking about. That's a reference to The Hobbit.
Oh, is it?
It is. Yes. Have you seen The Hobbit or read the book?
I have not. No.
Okay. That's a fun scene.
Oh, okay.
But I get it. I know the reference. Winks at camera.
I also had a question about Gollum, because this is where we start getting to Gollum screaming in Mordor. He's all like, oh yeah,
there's that shot where they're in Mordor and he's being tortured.
Yeah. How does he know this stuff?
If you read The Hobbit, you'd know.
Okay.
Or watch the first of the 3 films.
So he just follows them or just knows? Like,
No, he knows.
we just don't do anything? Like, he just knows that they're in the Shire and is Bilbo back or a.
I mean, do you want spoilers for The Hobbit? Like,
I don't know.
then you're just gonna have to watch it or read it or both. Probably read it.
Hello.
Oh my! What? Oh my God! It's like 3 hours later. What happened, Chris? What happened?
Too many things, honestly. We're trapped here by rain.
Yes, there's flash flooding in Los Angeles at the moment.
You're gonna dox me.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, there's flash flooding in America.
That could mean anywhere from Riverside to like Santa Barbara.
Fair.
Guess where we are.
Yeah, guess where my house is.
Yeah.
We don't remember where we left off. I said Isildur's. No. Where am I? Gandalf needs to find things. Oh, yeah, we talked about the time skip. Or the three-year time skip. That's where we were, I think.
Fitting how there was a time we had to talk about
skips.
Time skip.
We planned it.
It's in the script.
It's in the script. See, the script.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did put down. I'm like, did Gandalf know what ring that was? Because I thought he would have found out that that's the ring of power, right? That's what it's called.
Well, he did find out.
Yeah, but like I thought when he originally, like knew Bilbo and so I thought he knew from that. Like I didn't expect him to find out that Bilbo like leaving. Like, oh yeah.
Well, Chris.
I haven't read The Hobbit, so I don't know.
If you read The Hobbit, you would know why Gandalf didn't recognize it.
I'm not reading The Hobbit yet. Oh, I did put one thing that threw me off. The Hobbits, there's like when the what are they called? The Nazgul, which you don't know their name yet, start coming because Gollum led Sauron's forces to the Shire, or told them where they were.
They tortured the location out of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Within the 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the only reason were they looking because Sauron's like almost at full power again, or just that like the ring was touched and it kind of just like reactivated, or.
You see, the thing about Lord of the Rings, got to understand, Chris.
I'll just go on. I did put when the Nazgul were coming into town, there was a scene where it had a hobbit and his dog, but the dog was relative size to the hobbit. So is the dog a hobbit, like a hobbit dog?
I mean, dogs in real life can get pretty small.
No, but that was like a big dog.
Yeah.
But like it was hobbit sized.
Yes.
So there's multiple hobbit sized dogs.
One would assume. It could just be the one. I'm pretty sure that's the only dog we see in the movie.
It's very strange. I noticed that and I was like, that's very small in comparison to everything now. But it looked a full grown big.
It's possible it's an oversight.
No, that can't be. Sword of the Rings. The Mordor language, which is the dark language, dark tongue, something. Yeah. Let's see. Gandalf cannot accept the ring out of fear of being controlled, because the ring of Sauron's controls everybody. Not really, but like it tempts everyone. Really.
Yes.
It's the apple of Eden.
From the Bible?
Yes. No, from The Hobbit. Yeah, it tempts people. Well, it's the thing of power, and then it's also the snake, which does tempt people. It is both the snake and the tree, and the apple.
Yes.
I thought you knew the Bible a little bit. It's Genesis.
I do, but I mean, I'd argue that in Tolkien lore, the whole like Exodus from Paradise thing happened like way back in the first stage.
I'm talking symbolism. Oh my. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't. It corrupts the body, the mind, the soul, but it's not like the effect of the ring isn't necessarily.
It's not knowledge,
evil.
is what I mean. I mean, this knowledge isn't necessarily evil, except to God.
I could say some things without being slightly spoilery.
Oh, to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, to the later films you have to watch now.
Well, knowledge are about like the powers that it gives.
What the ring does. Yeah, it's explained more later.
Yeah, I don't remember what it does. So I'm pretending that I've never watched any of these movies, and once I watch them, I'll be like, I kind of remember that, which half and half with this. Let's see. Village of Bree, they have to go meet because Gandalf's like, well, you have to leave and you take Sam. He's eavesdropping. But Gandalf has to see Saruman. But then my thing is Gandalf got to Isengard,
yes.
And then he got trapped, and then he got taken by the eagle. All before they got there, right? No. They got to Bree because he got to. Never mind. I'm mixing things up. He got to Isengard, got captured. They got to Bree. We're looking for lodging, and then they didn't find him. It's like, Gandalf hasn't been here in 6 months. Let's see. And because my question was that Gandalf was planning to meet Saruman and then get there and tell them stuff, right?
Yes.
But how was he supposed to be there before them if he took a detour and then came back?
Well, he had a horse.
That makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Never mind. I was wrong.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. One or two of my questions compared to like the three immediately I asked.
Gandalf
That was never explained.
Yeah, Gandalf gallivants up into the inn at the Bree in his 2012 Toyota Prius. Get in, losers, we're going to Mordor.
We see some wood elves at one point. And that's Elrond, right? That's Elrond's group, right?
Chris,
am I mixing things up?
No, but your summary of events is lacking.
I'm skipping around.
Yes.
Okay.
They go to the Bree, and who do they meet at Bree when Gandalf isn't there, Chris?
They meet Aragorn.
Yes.
What's his name?
Strider. Aragorn.
Strider. That was later.
No, they meet him at the inn at the Bree, because Gandalf's not there, and he's all like, "Oh, you guys carry a dangerous artifact."
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh no, my script is wrong.
No, because they see some wood elves traveling to Valinor before they meet Elrond's group. That was before they got to Bree.
Ah, yes. Okay.
I'm not wrong.
Yes, that is in the extended cut, that scene.
Okay, so that's an extended cut thing?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah, you aren't.
Okay, well, why? Okay, what are the wood elves? And thus they're just going back to Valinor?
Yeah.
Just chilling?
Yeah, they're travelers, just like the hobbits.
Okay. My thing is, right, how come the wizards are sent to fight Sauron, but not to fight Morgoth, who's more powerful?
Because they didn't think of that in the first stage.
I don't know.
I mean, this is book lore. This is
Yeah.
book lore stuff, which I'm not as familiar with.
Because like Morgoth's going to be OP, right? Morgoth, the progenitor evil, like that caused chaos in the first age, right? I always have questions about stuff like this when in storytelling when they're like, oh, here's this big bad evil things that we stopped millennia ago, right? And then like 1% of its power arises now and we can't defeat it. It's like, how the hell did you defeat things back then? Like, and it's just like, oh yeah, we have actually more technology now. I'm like, what? Huh? I always question stuff like that. That always bothers me.
I'm gonna walk up to Sauron with my desert eagle and just pop, pop. Your armor won't save you now.
I mean, kind of. I feel like you could do that and kill him. Like, yeah. Okay, so then they're actually in Bree now. Well, first Saruman and Gandalf talk. Saruman's evil and he's corrupted because he's scared of Sauron.
We have to join with him. What? No, he's evil. Pop, pop.
Why did... Well, maybe this will get us later. I was like, why did Saruman turn? Because they defeated him already, and he's in a weaker state. So why do you think that they wouldn't be able to defeat him?
You see, in the films, they don't go into a whole lot of detail about this.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure it's a mix of Sauron having the strongest army at the time, and also he was communicating with Sauron with the...
Yeah, I was thinking the orb
with
thing.
the thing.
Like, that was probably the...
Sauron's whispering sweet nothings into his ear like, yes, little wizard, come to evil.
And he's like, you're right. The wisest wizard. Oh, you're right.
You're right, I would like to be evil.
I put wizards have telekinesis with their wands.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. Frodo's tempted to put the ring on in Bree, but then he kind of resists, and then it falls on him because the ring has a mind of its own.
Because dumbass little boy Pippin goes up to get another pint of beer, and he starts bragging to all the the patrons at the bar, like, oh yeah, my friend Frodo, he's right over there. And then Frodo's like, no, Pippin! And then he trips and falls, and the ring falls on his finger, and he vanishes. And then everyone in the bar is like, oh, do it again.
Let's see. The Nazgul.
Yes.
Are they scared of water? Because they always like hesitate going into water stuff. Is that like a...
Well, I mean, you can't cross a river on a horse.
I mean, but the thing is, they go in... Okay, when Frodo and everyone first escaped, they couldn't go into the lake because obviously it's a giant lake.
Yeah.
But then when they're chasing Arwen.
There you go.
Like...
She crosses the river.
Yeah, but it's not that deep, and they still eventually go through it.
Kinda.
I mean, yeah.
They don't get all the way.
No, but like they were able to go. Like, why did they just keep going? Like originally.
Because they were scared. Because that marks the border where they'd be treading into Elven land, with all the weird elf magic. With like the water.
How much are you making this up? Yeah, okay, so Strider's here, Aragorn, he's just like, I know things. And he's being all sexy and shit.
And he saves the hobbits from the Nazgul.
Okay, I was getting to that.
Oh, alright. I went ahead in the script.
It's okay. Also, when Frodo got the ring put on him, and the Nazgul were able to, like, locate him, generally, while he had the ring on.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they go after it every time Bilbo put it on or some shit?
And we're back. Ooh. So they leave Bree. And,
okay. Maybe it's a proximity thing.
Maybe it is a proximity.
Maybe it's a proximity thing.
I'll give you this, Chris. I'm not into Lord of the Rings because of the plot. The plot is incidental.
That's fine. Like I understand. These are just questions that I had like as I was like watching it, and then I was just like, oh, what? Like, how come this happened? But it's very fantastical mythology. It doesn't make sense, like, generally.
The grand scale, the concept, and the aesthetics are the main draw for the Lord of the Rings. Unless you read the books, but that's different.
Yeah. The Nazgul are the ring wraiths, the 9 kings of the men. That's neat. Rivendell, they have to head there to see Elrond, my boy. I put that.
He's older now.
He's older now compared to the Rings of Power. I think what page was that? Okay. Let's see. Lady of... They mentioned the story of, like, the Lady of Luthien, I think? Or Luthen? Give herself for Baron. You remember that? I think Aragorn said it. He was talking about, like...
Lady of
Luthien? I don't remember. He mentions it real briefly, and I was like, oh, let me jot this down. And no, I don't remember.
Okay, I don't think I remember this part.
Okay, it's not real. It didn't happen. Gandalf is trapped in a tower, and trees are being taken down. that's what happens at the same time.
Yeah, Saruman is hosting an orc army, and so he's like, the orc's like, my lord, we need more fuel to burn these fires for our machines that we don't talk about. And then Saruman's like, yes, take the trees from the forest. And then they take the trees.
Yeah, they take the trees from the forest.
And they burn them to fuel their orc machines or whatever they use them for.
That make orcs in mud, kind of, right?
Yes, the orcs are shown to be birthed from mud.
That does happen. They pass by the watchtower of Amensul. Is that the watch? That's not the watchtower from Rings of Power.
No. The watchtower in Rings of Power would have been like, that would have been in Mordor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they were in the Southlands.
Yeah, the Southlands is Mordor.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, weren't they in the Southlands when they were on the watchtowers?
No.
What do you mean?
They haven't gotten there yet.
You mean, okay, I thought you meant the watchtowers in the Rings of Power would have been in Mordor. I was like, yeah, I thought that's what they were.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like, okay, no, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, follow the script, Chris. Don't get lost.
I put fire hurts the Nazgul, because this is when they stab Frodo.
Oh!
Yeah, he bursts into flames.
Which is a very silly image of just the torch sticking out of his face and flailing his arms.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But they don't die because they're immortal-ish, kind of, right? I don't know if they die. We don't see them much after that, right? Do we see much after that? I don't think so. Maybe.
Not in Fellowship.
Yeah. The ring takes you to the Shadow World, which is neat. The Shadow World. That it has always existed.
Well, it's more like Frodo can see things unseen on this mortal plane.
That's what.
Which is why he can see like what the Nazgul actually look like.
Yeah, which they look like corpses, old men. Let's see. With the Nazgul, I still put they hate water because they're chasing Arwen. God, I have to roll the R. And then I put Arwen is Noah and summons a flood. and then they takes them and they go wee. I put down because at this point, she tries to help Frodo, everyone, right?
Yeah, Frodo got stabbed with the poison dagger.
And so she takes him because she shows up magically, and
he needs elven medicine.
Yeah, and then they get to where Elrond is into Rivendell.
Yes, there you go.
And let's see, I put down when they were talking about what day it was that they have in October. They have the month October, which I thought was neat because it's a fictional world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was neat. Anyway.
Yeah, this isn't Elder Scrolls where it's like the third seed of Morgulon or whatever.
I don't know Elder Scrolls. You could be making this up.
I am.
Oh.
But
I put eagle because my boy Gandalf gets taken by an eagle because he sent a moth.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
We're meant to assume that he's friends with the eagles.
Yes, with these eagle things. Giant eagles.
Yes.
In
the films, it's not explained what the eagles are.
Yeah. I feel like that's a running theme. In the film, this thing is not explained.
Yeah. If you want the lore, read the book. Pretty much.
I put the Rivendell looks really amazing. Like, it looks really pretty the way they do the... Because I think the shot when Frodo's coming out, that's all a miniature, right?
Yeah, it's a miniature, but then they also put like people walking through the miniature.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I was just looking at the landscape.
It's all the tiny details that like sells it in your brain.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Actually, I think for Rivendell they had like two miniatures. It was like one real small one and then one that's like
larger. Like, oh yeah, because they had Frodo,
or something.
Right? Because Elijah Wood had to walk into the scene, right?
Yeah.
So Bilbo's back. That's why for me, like, I didn't realize the time skip had happened because I was like, like to me, right? Bilbo hasn't been gone that long.
Yeah,
And
for
so-
us, it's been like an hour and a half. For him, it's been like 3 years.
Yeah, so like when he got back, I was like, okay, like how do you finish his book so fast? But time skip, time is weird, wonky. I put Frodo as strong against evil because he resisted the ring's temptations, and then they're like, oh, he was able to do it, and then Gandalf's like, you can't send him, or you can't put the more weight on his shoulders, and then Elrond's like, I don't know, man, I don't trust men and dwarves or elves.
And then the elves and the
Hobbit.
dwarves are fighting with each other like, I'll take the ring. I will be dead before I see the ring in the hands of an elf. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. I do wish a little bit that they emphasize more of the other major players in that meeting. Because it felt like it just showed all the players that would eventually just become the Fellowship. Which I was
like we're also coming at this film after just watching Hot D, right? So the politics in Lord of the Rings is severely lacking in comparison.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I just wish that they were like named at all. Like they weren't even named, which is fair, I guess, but just
they're supposed to be representatives of the other kingdoms in the land.
Yeah. I think the elves are leaving, right?
Yes.
Are they going to Valinor? Right?
Yeah. Well, the elves have been in the process of leaving for like 3,000 years.
They're very bad at it. It seems like they're able to come to Middle Earth pretty easily, relatively. And
well, I mean, when there isn't like a time limit on when they have to leave, really. So it's just like, I'm
just
immortal. Might as well just take a couple more centuries, you know?
Yeah. I did have a question about Arwen.
Yeah.
She says she's gonna toss her immortality. So, do elves have like an artifact or something that gives them immortality?
Okay, so you see, it's a theme for Arwen's character. Like her only character point at all is that she's immortal, but she's in love with a mortal man, so she decides to be mortal herself.
Yes.
It's not explained how that happens.
Because I thought she was giving away the thing, like her little necklace. I thought that was what giving that away.
Yes, I think that's a thing in the books, but in the films, the necklace thing is just symbolic of their relationship. It's not actually a.
I thought it worked both folds, but I guess it could just work in one way.
In the book, it's both. I'm pretty sure, but in the films, they don't explain it. So, soft magic. Aha.
Ooh, we.
Uh-oh, she's gonna die. She's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. They mentioned Numenor. The blood is all but forgotten.
The light of Numenor has faded.
Which is cool. We saw Numenor in Rings of Power. Narsil, the blade that cut Sauron's hand.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, what's neat about it? What did you think about it?
It's broken.
Yeah, you saw it break.
It's still broken. They didn't fix it.
They put it in the museum and left it alone for like 2,000 years or whatever.
Yeah, and then they're like, Aragorn, you are the one true king, the descendant of Isildur. Be our king. Be the king of the men.
Be the king of these filthy ape men.
Yeah, Elrond says that verbatim.
Yes, you humans. With you primitive primate.
During going back to the meeting between all the lords and shit.
Sure.
Boromir is tempted by the ring.
Yes.
Quite multiple times, as we'll see throughout this discussion. Aragorn speaks Elvish. I made a note of that, and then turns out he lived with them. That's why.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
His girlfriend's an elf.
That is also true. Let's see. Black speech, the Mordor language. I put Aragorn sick. He's cool. He fights good, and he's like charming and attractive. Also, Aragorn has a much different voice than I thought he would. I don't remember this actor, but his voice is not what I was prepared for.
Oh, you don't think it matches his body, or?
A little bit. He's a lot more softer spoken than I thought he would be. At least in the first movie.
Did you expect like really, really grustled and like, I am the king of men. I know all the plants in the forest.
I thought it would be like maybe louder and just a little deeper, I guess. But
I know all the plants in the forest.
Sure.
Hey Frodo.
Crunk.
Hey Frodo, hand me the ring. Let me show you how to use it.
The ring. The ring that
I want to see the Patrick Warburton. I want to see the Patrick Warburton cut of Lord of the Rings.
He's the Aragorn. I would watch that. Fuck. Anyway, the Fellowship is made between Gimli, Pip, Merry, Frodo, Sam, Gandalf, Legolas, Aragorn, and Boromir.
There's one more. Who is it, Chris? Did you pay attention? Did you watch the right movie?
What did I miss?
You missed Gimli.
I said Gimli first.
Oh. Chris, edit it to make it so that like he didn't say Gimli first. Make me look good.
Yeah. I could be lying. He doesn't know. I'll know.
We don't know. We haven't looked at the audio yet.
I thought I said Gimli. Maybe I didn't. Anyway.
Well, I mean, that one was kind of a gimme. So where do we leave off?
I was going to say Aragorn's mom sent him to Rivendell. That was cool. Frodo's sword glows blue when orcs are around.
Sting.
Also, he got mithril armor or chest, fucking chainmail, which is a
he's getting all of Bilbo's old stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's funny just because, like, for me, right, like watching the Rings of Power, knowing how like
mithril cures the tree
is so
show.
important, and then seeing it's like, oh, here's a whole freaking like thing of it. I'm like, oh, that thing's like that's sick.
Here's a vest made out of the fucking stuff.
Yeah, and then Gandalf at some point says like, yeah, I didn't want to tell Bilbo, but that's like more expensive than the entire Shire. It's like, oh, that's cool. I like that a lot. Let's see, they're traveling at this point.
Yeah, the Fellowship has formed and they're on their way to Mordor.
I think they're all okay with Frodo just because like Frodo is the only one who's like, oh yeah, let me take this, I can do it.
Yeah, he doesn't take up much space.
Yeah, he's already gotten this far with it. And then everyone's like, well, at least he's not someone else I hate. So, yeah, sure.
At least he's not an elf.
At least he's not a dwarf. Let's see. They end up where are they at this point? This is before, I'm trying to think, like, because I wrote stuff down, but because I think they get to. They don't go to. Is Moria before or after the Galadriel?
Moria is before Galadriel,
okay,
but it is after the mountain.
Okay, yeah, because they did try to go on the mountain.
Yeah, they have a real safe path trying to get to the east, but they get spied on by Saruman's birds, so they're like, oh fuck, we can't go this way anymore. He's gonna kill us.
Yeah, and so then they just go underground.
No.
Well, you're given a choice, and Frodo chooses to go through the mines.
No.
What do you mean no?
No. They go up the mountain first, but then they realize, oh wait, we're fucked if we go up this way.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because Gandalf really does not want to go underground.
Yeah, and so then yeah. And
but then they almost get crushed by the Saruman caused avalanche.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking that's what you were talking about because the birds do come at that point too, right?
They come. The birds are why they decide to go up the mountain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the birds go. Then them going up the mountain first. Then they hide and they're like, oh, we're found out. Then they go to the side. Just because it's the side of the mountain.
Yeah, the side of the mountain, but the snow's too big and Saruman is yelling at them from a mile away.
And then they're given a choice between Mines of Moria and
just Boromir.
Oh, going through
Rohan, I believe.
And so Frodo's like, let's just go to the mines.
I've had enough of this cold. Let's go to inside the earth where it is warm.
Yes.
I've had the ice, give me the fire.
That is true. Because of the Balrog.
Yeah, it's a story of ice and fire.
This is actually Game of Thrones. The story of ice and fire.
Yeah, so now they go to the base of the mountain.
Yes.
Where they see a nice little hentai monster.
Yeah, tentacle monster. Gandalf stumped by...
Oh yeah, the door.
The door.
The same door we see in Rings of Power.
I don't recognize it as the Rings of Power one, though. So yeah, in the Rings of Power, it says, it's Durin's mines and shit. And I like Durin in the Rings of Power. So that's cool.
It's a nice little callback to the one thing you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thorin gave Bilbo the mithril shirt. I don't know who Thorin is, but he's probably from The Hobbit.
He is from The Hobbit.
Cool.
They get into the mine. Yeah, speak, friend, then enter.
Yes.
It's a riddle.
You speak friend in Elvish, and then you enter.
Melon. Melon.
Yeah. Smeagol / Gollum has been chasing them for a while.
Oh, there's one major detail you skipped over.
Them also getting attacked or being attacked by the thing?
Well, getting attacked by the thing, and then them entering the cave, and Boromir's all like, "This is no mine. This is a tomb."
Yeah.
Uh-oh, everybody, fuck, get out of here. Oh no, the monster outside's gonna kill us. Back into the cave.
Yeah, okay, they go back and forth, basically, and they're just like, okay, well...
they realize that all the dwarves are dead, so they try to leave, but then the monster caves them in, and so they have no choice but to go through the Mines of Moria.
See, I always...
And Gandalf's real pissed about it.
I always thought that... I guess, I don't know, thinking about Lord of the Rings, I always thought that the Mines of Moria were abandoned for a lot longer, because he says... Gimli says that his friend or cousin or something.
His cousin, I think.
His cousin was there, and then it shows that he was dead, and that like there's spider. It's like it looks really like
decrepit.
Yeah, decrepit too, and it's just like, okay, well, it feels like this has been long since like. How long have you not talked to your cousin, dude? like,
the dwarves do live longer than humans in Tolkien lore. I'm pretty sure.
But not as long as elves.
Yeah, I mean, it could still be a long time. Like,
I guess.
Like how, like okay, like the building we're in. How long would it take for this to just get completely run down?
I don't know.
Probably like
if
everyone left the greater Los Angeles area, this would probably be super depressing in like 10 years.
That's fair, I guess. But like, this is just a big place.
It is a big place. And it's been overrun by orcs, which makes things progress a bit faster.
That's fair. I guess I always just presumed it would be different. Or it was longer time since Moria was like destroyed. But it wasn't. Semi-recently, I guess. I like that Gandalf's lost. But I think there's a good like 5-10 minutes of Gandalf stuff that I really liked in the Mines.
Yes, he has the best line of dialogue in the whole series in the Mines.
Yeah, his speech to Frodo is great.
We have no choice over what the life we have is, but it is
what we do.
But we must do what we do. That is the choice we have. Gandalf, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it shows that like how wise.
It was me the whole time.
I was like, what are you doing? What's happening? It shows how wise he is. I like that he's lost because it shows that he doesn't know everything. I like that he knew Gollum was following them for a while because after he's gone, I think Aragorn or Boromir or both of them, they say that Gollum was following them since the Mines. And I like that they're not as perceptive as someone as Gandalf, which he knew that Gollum was following them for a lot longer than that. And I was like, I like that. That's really cool. Like,
nice little details. Yeah. You can fit them in since it's 4 hours long.
Yeah, that's this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is really nice. I like this a lot. Like, and then, like I said, Gandalf's whole speech was fantastic. You know, it just shows. Like, I think that whole section shows that he's wise, and even lacking knowledge, that it takes wisdom to understand that and try to okay, what's the best course of action if I don't know this stuff. It's very good. I really, really like the Gandalf stuff in the Mines. I
will say
dies.
that. Whoa, really skipping ahead now. I will say that the Mines sequence is probably my favorite of the first film.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that whole 40-minute stretch, I'd say probably. Yeah, they get further into the mines. They
get to the Great Dwarf City at some point.
Great Dwarf City and the Great Dwarf throne room.
Yeah, Dwarf I don't know.
Where they read the final diary entry of Durin's scribe, and he's like, the drums in the deep.
Not Durin's. It'd be his cousin, right? Or Gimli's cousin.
Yeah, Durin.
Oh, he's also called Durin? I thought he was called something else.
I don't remember. He wasn't alive in the movie.
He's dead.
Then Gandalf gets really intimidating when he's reading the things. The drum, the deep, and they're coming. They are coming. And then Pippin, fucks it all.
Yeah, Pippin causes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm a Mary.
Mary doesn't cause any problems.
Some people call me a Mary Sue.
Oh boy. Yeah, they have the whole fight in the underground. Pippin alerts the goblins, and they get attacked by the goblins.
Yeah.
And they're like, they have a cave troll.
And then the cave troll attacks them.
Yeah, and then they kill the cave troll.
Yeah. The mithril armor protects Frodo because it's broken as shit in this world.
Yeah, it doesn't. The impact from the lance doesn't even break his ribs or anything.
No,
it just stops it completely.
Yeah,
even though it's more of a fabric than a solid piece of metal. It's magic.
Yeah,
it's magic armor.
Yeah. Let's see. They get surrounded by orcs, and this trope I'm not always a fan of. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the fake out death, or
no, not the fake out death. That's fine because I feel like Gandalf changes. I mean, he actually does change. When he comes back eventually in the other movies, right? Kind of.
Well, the spoilers.
We'll get.
You'll have to figure that out for yourself.
But I'm just saying that that's not the thing I don't like. I don't like it when they're surrounded and they could basically just die or lose, and then a bigger, scarier thing that's a lot easier to avoid comes out of nowhere, and then lets them escape a lot easier than if they were just surrounded by the mob or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't like that trope. And then it happened.
What? So you don't like the cave troll, or
what?
Do you dislike the cave troll or the Balrog?
The Balrog one.
Oh.
I mean, the Balrog's sick. It looks great and it's so cool. But I'm just saying that they were surrounded by orcs, and then the orcs dissipated because the Balrog was there.
Yeah.
And and I get that the Balrog was talked about before and that he was going to show up. So it's not like it wasn't foreshadowed or anything. But I just don't for me that seems like a very easy or very convenient way
to get rid of all the orcs.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And that is something that I'm not a huge fan of.
Well, okay, I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, because having them surrounded by the 10,000 orcs or how many that were there, and a tiny little standoff before they're all gonna for sure be dead.
Yeah.
And then having all of the orcs without exception just run screaming in fear from this one single entity just builds up the hype of the Balrog.
Yes, it does.
And it gives much more weight to the decision of Gandalf being like, fuck, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that it gives a lot of weight to the Balrog. But I feel that without
you would have much preferred them figure out like a cockamamie scheme to get out of that big old crowd of orcs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would have liked it better is like if they were in the middle of the chase and there's still a decent chance of them getting away, and then the orcs start dissipating because they hear the Balrog. Because I think my major problem...
You didn't want them to be surrounded and then have everything stop.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, that is the biggest problem for it. Because it shows that, like, they could have just done away with them, and then this bigger, crazier entity, which is cool and it does hype it up, but it lessens it because then the Balrog cannot do, like, what essentially these orcs did, and the orcs were scared of it. So,
you know what? Okay, I like where you're going with this, because if it's like in the middle of the chase when the Balrog shows up, then we can actually see the Balrog wrecking shop with whatever orcs are in his way.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it show like, oh, this Balrog's like the threat. Like, and like, oh, he could catch up faster or something. Oh yeah, he's like, I think that would have worked a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah, and then it would have been a lot more badass when they get to the bridge sequence and Gandalf stalls the Balrog all on his own.
Yeah.
So we could be like, oh fuck, Gandalf's actually really good, but the Balrog's fucking him up a little bit. Oh no, what's gonna happen, Gandalf?
Yeah,
get out of there.
I think that would have worked a lot better.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I like where your head's at, kid.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's probably the only thing in the Moria where I was like, because everything else I thought was really good. Like the fight with the troll and stuff, I thought was really good. Even the Balrog stuff in just general looked sick and was very, very cool.
Yeah. The one thing that I dislike the most is probably the "Fly, you fools" scene, where Gandalf gets whipped by the Balrog to fall down. But when he's hanging on the ledge there, I mean, he could have just kept hanging on and they could have just, like, grabbed him and brought him up.
Yeah.
But then they didn't because it's implied that if they went down, they would also get hurt by the orcs in the distance, but they don't actually start firing at them until after Gandalf falls, so it doesn't get portrayed to the audience very well.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that span of time, like, albeit those things were cool on their own, have problems if you think about it a little bit too much, which we both got into. So it's like, Also, am I misinterpreting? But does the Balrog have wings?
It does have wings, but it can't fly.
Okay.
Or at least we don't ever see it fly.
So it's just aesthetics.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, it has wings. Can't it fly? Because it felt pretty fast. like
it walks really fast because it's big.
Yeah.
But
I like that just watching as they're getting away. Like Legolas is a good shot because he's
really an elf.
Good. Yeah. But like I just like that they don't even talk about it really. Like they just show him being a good shot.
Yeah.
I just show don't
there
tell.
There isn't like a scene where Aragorn's over with Boromir like, oh my god, look at his form.
Yeah.
He can shoot the wings off of a gnat from 100 feet away.
Yeah. Like they just show him, oh yeah, he's just hitting those shots.
Yeah, just right through the head of like 5 orcs at once.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. Also, after I was gonna say Sauron, after Gandalf dies, spoilers for I guess the other movies again. Just
I don't know what you're talking about.
I really, really liked all the portrayals of the characters' emotions after he died.
Yeah, they get out of the cave and they're just like completely distraught, bawling their eyes out on the rocks.
Yeah, I liked that there was like a decent amount of them like very sad and upset, and then like Aragorn's like, we got to keep going. Boromir's like, you have to let them grieve. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I like the the mix of all these emotions and stuff. And then I like later too when we'll get there right now, but when they're in the Karis Galathan. No, wherever Galadriel's in.
Caleris Golotham. God, they go to Gotham City.
They go to Gotham City. No, but when they're in that city, and they're still grieving, and then you have like Gimli like chilling out and sleeping, and and then you have like Aragorn like, come on, dude, like pay attention. Like I like that stuff. Like it shows that these characters have weight and stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot more of like really small character interactions in the extended cut.
Oh, okay.
Which they should have just made the regular movie 3.5 hours long, but
If you're already going to be that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that stuff. I think Mario was very, very good overall. Just the couple things that we mentioned that
looks so fucking cool, dude.
I think just those slight changes would have made it significantly better. Like, I genuinely just think that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're heading towards Galadriel. She's the elf witch.
Well, they're not. They don't want to head towards Galadriel.
Yeah, but they are.
Yeah, they go into the forest to escape the orcs,
and then they get captured.
They get captured, and they get brought to the cool elf city.
Yeah. It says that this place is the heart of elvendom on Earth or something.
On Middle Earth, yeah. Because
they said Earth.
But, well, that's very optimistic of them.
I'm assuming they meant Middle Earth because they only call Middle Earth stuff, and I don't know what the planet is actually called, but. But
I'm only thinking Nirn, but that's Elder Scrolls.
So. No, but yeah, I remember not jotting that down because I was like, they said Earth. I'm pretty sure they only meant the Middle Earth, but they just said Earth.
Yeah, we get the whole scene at night with the seeing pool in Galadriel.
Well, first she talks to like all of them in general, and then she telepathies Frodo
while also talking the whole time.
Yeah,
which is impressive.
I like that stuff. Like when characters can do like multitask like that, I'm like, that's sick. But yeah, then she shows. I put mirror in the bowl.
Mirror in the bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, she's talking to Frodo and it's like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen. I see it too. This could happen if you fail to do the ring stuff." And then he's just like, "Well, you take the ring." And then she's like, "I could be a god."
Instead of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen. And then she goes all green, and hit the. That's gonna sound real bad.
It's gonna hurt me. And then
they throw all the fans on her, and then they give like the really dissonant, like really loud strings, like. She
looks like a ghost.
All shall fear me and despair. And then Frodo's like, oh no.
And then I think she just said, "Oh no, I can't," or whatever, and she's like, "I passed the test" or something, because I think she was just trying to.
She was trying to see for herself if she would succumb to evil.
Yeah.
Which she would.
But I mean, she denied it, right? Like she said, like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that." Like I thought that was just like knowing yourself enough to like to not even give that chance. That is, I think, still passing, because she said like something about passing a test. And I thought that was the test, but like maybe I'm wrong.
You know what? They probably go into more detail in the books.
Detail.
Yes.
TeaTime.
Well, here's a tea tale for you, because we had a time skip. The tea is cold now, so.
Yeah, that's why I have this. We're not sponsored, but I have a winter chisel cup. Not that I dislike Galadriel and the Rings of Power, but I like the idea. Like I do see how people would dislike the way the elves are portrayed in the Rings of Power compared to in these movies, because the way the elves are shown as like these holier than thou beings, I really like that. It's really cool.
It's like the origin of that trope.
I didn't realize that, but like I like that Galadriel's like this very powerful like woman, like, and she's this otherworldly entity, like that's
kind of like an alien queen kind of a thing going on. Yeah,
like, I like that quite a bit. I mean, not to dislike the type of character she is in Rings of Power, but
I think it's interesting that they went that direction for Rings of Power, because we get to see the progression of how she went from gruff
unstable
soldier, mentally unstable,
and then like she'll progressively become more and more like, okay,
I was born to rule.
Yes,
you all shall follow my commands.
Yes, she's married in this. Is she married?
I don't. It's not important.
Okay.
She gives a little thing of water to Frodo. She's like, "Here, have this holy liquid in the bottle."
She also says, "Here's my ninja ring of adamant." Does stuff. It's a ring.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's a ring of power.
It's a ring of power, some would say. They talk about orcs were elves once. That was also mentioned in Rings of Power, but
orcs, elves walked barefoot in Middle Earth one time, and they became orcs.
I was very surprised because of how racist Gimli is, that he was like infatuated with an elf.
Oh, you didn't think he'd come around so quickly?
He went straight from the racist to fetishist like really fast. But I did think it was kind of fun when he was just like, I asked for 1 lock of her hair, she gave me 3. I just thought it was kind of cute and fun that, you know, how infatuated he was with her. And then, you know, depending on how, you know, you take like men's infatuation with certain, you know, people and stuff, like how she responded made me enjoy it, because she was just like, yeah, here's 3. She's just, you know, being the powerful woman that she is. Like, I like that. Cool.
I mean, from a cold-hearted sociopath leader's perspective, to get dwarven royalty on your side, and all it takes is 3 locks of hair. That's a very easy trade.
Yeah. But you know, I just think it's funny because like the other gifts that she gave seemed like, you know, important. This was just locks of her hair.
Here, Gimli, she pulls out the hairbrush and is, here, I got this morning.
Yeah, then Frodo, like you said before, you got the light of Elendor? Ellen? You got the light of Ellen DeGeneres. Cut that out. It wasn't funny. I put slow motion edits are bad because, and it's not the slow motion, it's the random like 5-second cuts. They're still bad, and they stay bad, and they're terrible. I just don't like them. I just think they're bad, personally.
And the good thing is that they don't use those kinds of shots for any of the important scenes.
Yeah, that is true. I do like that they don't do that.
Yeah.
Boromir and Aragorn have a cycle of distrust for each other. Well, because like Boromir wants him to be like passionate about the people, and Aragorn's like, I don't. He says, I don't want it.
Yeah. Boromir wants to use the ring in their fight against Mordor.
Yeah.
But then Aragorn is like, no, that would probably result
bad.
in... I don't want to be a Nazgul.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be Isildur.
I don't want to get shot in the back and then float in a river.
Yeah, I don't want that either. I put the music's very good. I don't know what was happening at this point, but it was very good.
Yes. This is the best part of the movie, the music.
I put, like, as they were traveling, I think the orcs were starting to get ready, and then after they left for a little bit, and the Fellowship were leaving, I was like, oh, the orcs showed up pretty fast. Again, a time thing. I don't know how long it took.
Well, it's the Uruk-hai are special orcs.
Yes, so they're
which means they're real fast.
Yeah. And this is when Frodo is talking to Aragorn, and he's just like, I gotta leave. Well, no, he fights Boromir, because Boromir's like, you should use the ring to help us. And then Frodo's like, we shouldn't be doing this, like, stop it. And then he's just like, you're a coward, give me the ring.
And then Frodo's like, no, I'll use the ring to get away from you.
He's like, it's very funny. Boromir, I like that he, after, was like, oh my god, like, I fucked up. Like, this was really bad.
He trips on a branch or something, and he's like, oh, Frodo, please, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I really like that Boromir was this kind of like tragic figure of like wanting to do better, but you know, because of that, his desperation made him more susceptible to like, you know, the evil persuasion and thoughts and shit.
Also, a thing I quite like in that sequence is that when Frodo puts on the ring to get away from Boromir, there's actually like real consequences for doing that. He stares into the eye like directly, and it freaks him out, and it's bad.
Yeah, like it's like
it shows us.
like,
It shows,
I see you.
It further reinforces why Frodo shouldn't be.
This is the first time.
That shouldn't be using the ring.
I don't know if that's the right cutoff, but
Shouldn't be using the ring.
Und high. I don't know if that means anything. But yeah, he shouldn't be using the ring. But I don't know. I liked the characters that they showed off in this movie quite a bit. But anyway,
They get attacked by the Uruk-hai.
Well, Frodo decides to leave because he realizes like they're in danger. And he's like, it'd be better on my own.
Me standing around all of these weak humans is gonna get me killed.
But I really liked Aragorn's loyalty when Frodo's like, what would you do? Like, would you take this or whatever? And he's like, I would follow you to Mordor, basically. Like, I will follow you all the way. But then he's like, I have to go. And he's like, okay. And I don't know. I really liked the parallel between Aragorn's loyalty to Frodo that developed, and then Boromir's devotion to Aragorn and wanting him to be like the true ruler. Like that, when Boromir ends up, dying and talking to him and stuff. Like I really like that stuff. Like it shows Aragorn like as a good leader and a follower, like in both aspects. Like he's a good like friend, but also like he can start like taking like he's taking steps to like take up the mantle of being king. Because he's like, oh yeah, I'll save our people, and Boromir's like, our. I really like that, But before that, Boromir, risks his life for Merry and Pip. But
he's a very honorable knight.
Yeah, I like. In my memory, or I guess the scenes I've seen of Boromir that I obviously didn't remember in context, I kept thinking that he was like, oh, he's like the evil one or whatever, like basically like a Judas. But I'm like, he's kind of, because I mean Judas was also regretful, but like Boromir was like immediately like oh shit, and then he immediately was trying to like make up for that, and I quite liked it. It was very good. Anyway, Boromir's dead.
Yeah. It's the alternate universe where Ned dies at the Battle of the Trident.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Then Frodo goes, and then Sam's like, "No, let me go with you." And he walks into the water.
Sam, you can't swim.
Yeah.
Frodo pulls him up and gets into the boat, and those two go their separate ways from the rest of the Fellowship.
The rest being Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn, because
Pippin and Merry get kidnapped.
Yeah, and then Gandalf and Boromir are dead. So at this point,
the orcs think that Merry and Pippin are the other two halflings, so they take them back
alive. So lucky them. But yeah, that's basic. Is that where the movie ends? Aragorn.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because it shows Frodo like looking off, and
Sam is like, "Well, Mr. Frodo, looks like we have a long way to go." And then Frodo's like, "Yeah,
Sam.
I want to go home."
Sam looks at Mordor and says, "Well, this was a very Fellowship of the Rings." So yeah, that was our quick summary. Quick, I guess.
It took like an hour and a half. Fuck, dude.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Fellowship of the Rings. As a rewatch and a refresher, I'm glad I did it. It is quite long.
Yes.
Maybe I should learn to pace them.
I do say that watching the Lord of the Rings films would be better at like if you paused it and then came back to it as if it were a miniseries.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like the Shire would be an episode, then getting to Rivendell will be an episode, Moria would be an episode.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was very good. I do think, I guess the weakest part is like the structure of plot beats, or plot.
I'd say the weakest part is just the plot and the things that aren't explained.
Yeah, like it is supposed to be kind of loose and very fantastical and very mythological. So going into it with that mindset, I think it does it very well. But also, like, this is a story crafted by one person. So I would feel that there would be some more explanations where there are like more important details, I guess. just like certain things that the rings do, or like they talk about, or different major characters.
I'm pretty sure they do in the book.
I don't doubt it, but I'm just saying in the movie how they present it.
Yeah, I also would have liked to see more detail.
So I think that's like, depending on how you view that, like it could be like a major turnoff for the series, or for this movie at least. But I think that it has enough going for it in terms of the plot that like you can follow. Like it has a lot going on, but also like you at the same time it's just like, oh, they're bringing the ring to X place. Like so that's not like super contrived, I guess. But its characters are pretty, even just for the first movie, pretty well fleshed out.
All of the characters are pretty enjoyable,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think that the dynamics between the characters are really good. We get to see more. I know that they develop in certain ways, from things I remember, or just writing videos and stuff, or character videos. The music is, godly. Like, it's very, very good.
Yes.
The
main reason why I watched it 15 times, yeah.
the one bad CG thing that I was going to talk about.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Completely forgot. It was when Isildur first puts on the ring, and he disappears the first time.
Isildur puts on the ring.
Yes. He's about to go into the lake.
Okay, so like in the
beginning,
in the very beginning,
and he was going to go into the lake to hide, and then the ring takes off him. Anyway, when he first puts on the ring, it's very early 2000s green screen, where he's very much like
you can see like the shadows coming around through his hair and around like
where he's very much a different layer of lighting and stuff.
Yeah,
and then the background is the green screen, and then he puts it on, he's like, whoo, he disappears, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Or a canon explanation, that's just kind of how humans looked in the Second Age.
yeah, they were so disassociated from reality.
Yeah, or no, that's how the elves view humans, because we're viewing it from Elrond's perspective.
I thought Galadriel described it.
Well, yeah, but she's an elf.
We're viewing
all the elves know each other.
Like they're not real from that. Yeah, but that was the one scene. But other than that, like the Balrog looked.
The Balrog still looks really good.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, they barely changed anything for the Rings of Power cameo for the Balrog.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the exact same thing.
The set designs.
Set design is really cool.
I know this was a complaint in the show, in the Rings of Power, that they didn't give a scale for like the world, and I don't think that's 100% true, but I do see how. The scaling
Moria feels a lot bigger than Numenor does. It does. Moria in Fellowship feels bigger than Numenor
in the show.
Yeah,
I can agree to that.
But that's more of an effect of like how they shoot things and how much time they spend in each scene. Yeah,
I think just the way that they present all the different places, and like showing from the distant lands and the way they're walking, and like how far away the camera is, I think that lends itself to.
Yeah, there's a lot of like helicopter shots from a mile away in this movie.
that establishes a very good sense of scale and distance. On the flip side, not great sense of time. like unfortunately, like it's just in the movie presented pretty poorly. But other than that, like. The other critiques at the beginning, I think that it's very good, and I can see why people really like it. Like, I can see why this is one of your favorite things of all time. I quite understand it.
I'm all about aesthetics. This series of films has some of the best aesthetics in film.
Yeah, I don't think my critiques were that crazy. Like, in all honesty.
No. I mean, you're not out here being like, Lord of the Rings?
More Lord of the Schmings.
Lord of my pings? This shit's garbage.
Yeah. Well, since you've seen this a bunch of times, I want to hear some of your hot takes.
Some of my hot takes? Well, okay, the biggest one...
movie, I guess.
Yeah, the biggest one is that Lord of the Rings is the best music video of all time.
You do say this.
let's see. I mean, in the films, I do think it's a really big issue that there's some stuff that isn't explained, and stuff that they should have gone into more detail about. Like the most well-known plot hole in Lord of the Rings is why didn't they just ride the eagles to Mordor?
Yeah, I know that's something that's talked about.
Yeah, and it's explained in the books, but they just don't talk about it in the movie.
Yeah, the Eagles just do kind of whatever they want, and so they just wouldn't have done that, like, generally, right?
Yeah, like I think when they rescue Gandalf from the tower, that was them owing him a favor.
Okay,
but again, they don't say.
Yeah, they don't talk about it.
So effectively, for the movie, it's just straight up a mistake.
Yeah, I feel like it's okay to not discuss everything. Like, you can even leave things completely unanswered. But if they are, like, essential to, like an answer to this question could change the direction of, like, some of the story beats, like major story beats, I feel like that's something you have to address. Like,
yeah, this is why focus groups are important for big projects like this.
Yeah. So
that people can point out, like, hey, well, that kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Again, this is for the movie. I don't know how deep, they go deeper into the minute details of why certain things happen or why they don't. I'm sure they still don't explain everything. That's just how things work. Like no one storyteller is gonna like catch everything. Hell, even 100 wouldn't be able to. But I think it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I want to see more just because I know like people really like Frodo and Sam, right, as main characters, right? I don't think that's
okay. Here's a hot take. You've reminded me.
Okay.
I think well, it only really comes into effect in the next two films.
Okay.
But I think the Frodo and Sam sections of Two Towers and Return of the King are the worst parts of those movies.
But do you think that that's because they are bad or because the rest is good?
Because the rest is all like grand adventure, epic fantasy battles, flying Nazgul, Riders of Rohan, all this cool shit, and then Frodo and Sam are just kind of sneaking around being good characters.
See, I find that strange because
I'm not into that.
But okay, I find that strange that you say this because in the Rings of Power, that was your favorite part.
Yes,
and it was the opposite.
Yes,
I do not know why you thought it was different. Is it because of the way they present the sense of battle and skill?
Chris, are you expecting consistency from me?
Not.
That's a mistake.
Well, I'm just wondering what makes them so different in the Rings of Power compared to.
Because in Lord of the Rings, the films were well thought out enough to make me care, partly.
Okay.
And in Rings of Power,
they weren't as much.
They weren't as much, and also. Okay, so here's how I determine if I like watching actors and like characters and stuff.
Sure.
Are they immediately entertaining to watch or listen to or whatever?
Okay.
And if yes, then all right, cool. I got no problems.
Okay.
If no, then all right, I'd rather be watching something else that's happening in the story.
And okay, so the characters in Lord of the Rings are just that much better generally. Than the
I'm not qualified to answer that question.
Okay, they're more entertaining for you to watch then.
Yes, I will say so.
That's fair.
Gimli Legolas is better than Elrond Durin.
I understand how it gets to that point. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I really like Elrond Durin, but I know that Legolas, Gimli becomes really cool and neat. So.
Yeah.
Any other last thoughts on the first Lord of the Rings? Fellowship of the Rings?
Shout out to anyone out there who had the Games Workshop minis for Lord of the Rings.
I don't know what those are.
Warhammer?
Yeah.
The same company made that. They did a Lord of the Rings game.
Are they really expensive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Do you have one?
I used to.
So you sold it?
I used to have a set of like the Moria sequence where they got attacked by the cave troll.
That seems kind of cool.
Like way back in like early middle school, and then I threw them all away because I broke them.
I wish I was a kid. I didn't throw away like toys.
I wish I threw away more toys.
Well, like
I have too many of them in my closet right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because some of the toys I had were like Do you know Transformers at all?
I know there's a wild secondhand market for them.
Well, I had Transformer toys, which were the giant planet Transformers.
Oh,
and they
okay.
and I had multiple of them, and then I still gave them all away because I was like, oh, I'm too old for this, and I'm like, I wish I had them now. They're so cool and they're expensive. Like, I would love to have them now. Damn you, past me. But yeah, I mean, I like collecting stuff, so like. You get it now. You got all the new Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I did. I went out and just dropped $100 on 11 volumes of Chainsaw Man,
which is very based. Just an FYI.
Go read Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Have you read any of the newest?
I'm really behind.
It's cool.
I think I read up to chapter 3.
The new characters are very cool.
I remember liking the War Devil.
Yeah.
I remember liking the chicken.
You're gonna like the school shooter.
Oh, okay.
They're not a school shooter. They give off very school shooter vibes. So just read Chainsaw. Trust me, it's not weird. I swear to God. It's only kind of weird.
Oh yeah. Do you know when Volume 12 is coming out?
No, but I want to order it too.
Okay, because I might just wait until that comes out so I can order it. But
yeah,
I don't know when manga gets published in physical.
It depends. I know that in this light novel that I like, it would get published every like 4 months ish every book, maybe longer depending. But I don't know about the manga. I think they're a little bit depending on how fast the pace it is, but I'm not sure. Anyway, enough about manga and Chainsaw Man. We have anything else to say about Fellowship?
This was an episode about Lord of the Rings. Good movie. This is the green one. Now he's gonna watch the red one.
For blood?
No, that
fire. I don't know. So I'm sorry.
It's just what the box set looks like.
Oh.
Fellowship is green. Two Towers is red, and then Return of the King is blue, I think.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. Do you want to close out?
We don't podcast. It's what I said at the beginning of the show. You see, we came full circle, like a ring. What a powerful concept.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
You have the ring?
I have a ring.